Okay, Tanya, for the 24th of Sivan, we're continuing in chapter 7. I think we're finishing. No, we're not finishing chapter 7. So just 2-second recap. So we were talking about yesterday the concept of Tzimtzum Kipshuto, or Tzimtzum Lo Kipshuto, right? So we said that though the Arizal seems to say, right, that for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to make space for the finite, to create this world, this physical world, right, he had to remove his infinity, right? So to remove his infinity to create, so to speak, a space, right, with which creation could be, space and time. And the Alter Rebbe is teaching us, right, that we don't take what he says literally. It's not tzimtzum kipshuto. It's not literal, right? We don't say, God forbid, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu removed himself. He spoke about why this isn't the case, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't remove himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu remains everywhere, within the creation as well. He just, what the Arizal is teaching us is that he's not revealed in the world. Right? He's not revealed in the world. It's not, God forbid, that he's out and just sort of like peering in. Kadosh Baruch Hu permeates everything. So now he's going to say there's two sort of main ways in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God's energy flows into the world to vitalize it, to give life to it, to bring it from something from nothing. Right, so one of them is called Sovev Ka'amin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he encompasses the world, and the other is Mamali, that he fills the world. So the idea of Sovev, that he surrounds the world, sounds like he surrounds it. Sounds like he pulled himself out. Right, it sounds more like that it's literal, that he pulled himself out and now he surrounds. He's not in. So I'm going to explain what does the Chassidus say about what's Sovev. It's harder to understand Sovev than it is Mamali, that he fills the world. Let's go. V'zeu gam kein inyan sovev ka'amin. Right? This is the inyan of he encompasses the world. He surrounds the world. Right? Perush derech mashal k'sha'adam is bonim be'ez davar chacham v'sichlo davar gashmi v'akshavto. This is explained also in many places in the Tanya. Right? So it doesn't mean sovev. It doesn't, God forbid, mean that it's around it. It surrounds it. It's we just started. God forbid that it surrounds it and that it's not present, right? So he says similar to when you think about something, right? You take any object or that you can imagine in your mind, right? I'm thinking about the chair and its caps that we were just talking about, right? It's in my mind. There's a physical thought in my mind. Azai sichlo machshavto makifim al davar ahu mitsuyor machshavto b'sichlo, right? So what does it mean that it encompasses? Yes, it's in my mind, right? And my mind is surrounding it, right? That's what it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu surrounds the world, right? By the image is surrounded by my mind. Ach ein makifim al davar hu mamish b'fol mamish, right? Let's take one step back before we translate this line. So the chair is in my mind, right? The chair is in my mind. My mind is present within it as well, right? My mind can go through every aspect of it that I could possibly think of, right? The idea of Sovev, though, is that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence, that he transcends the world, that he surrounds the world, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu on his own terms. It's that it's present, but it's not revealed here. It's present, but we don't get it. It's present, but we don't grasp it. It's him on his own terms. There's no revelation of that to us. We're oblivious to it, just like the chair in my mind is oblivious. The object in my mind is oblivious to the fact that I'm thinking about it, right? So that it's not that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not present, right? But there's it's like it's in his mind. He's encompassing it, right? But the creation doesn't get it. The creation doesn't know about it. The creation doesn't understand it. It's not revealed. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence is totally here, even in a transcendent surrounding way. It's him on his terms, though. It's not something that I can grasp whatsoever, right? However, the difference between the example that he gives in my mind, right? Ach ein makifin al davar hahu mamish b'fol mamish, right? But when I think of something in my mind, right, it's just like a spiritual image in my head, right? It's not the actual image itself. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu dichsiv be'kilo machshavto. Mamish b'fol mamish, right? I'm sorry, I might have jumped for 1 second. Ach ein makifin al davar Hahu mamish before mamish, but his intellect and his thought, do not encompass the subject in actual fact, right? It's just an image of it in my mind, right? It encompasses the concept. Like with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, though, it's real, right? With that which he's encompassing, right, is actually it. Aval HaKadosh Baruch Hu diksiv bei kilo machshavosei v'gomer. With regard to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, his thoughts are not our thoughts. Machshavtu v'yidyasu shudea kol nevroim makefes kol nivra v'nivra b'fol mamish. When a Kadosh Baruch Hu's mind, so to speak, his knowledge, which is ungraspable by us, when he encompasses something in his mind, it's actually it, right? I can encompass an image. It's just a mashal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually is this world, this creation, right? He actually encompasses it. Shahari hi chayuso v'hisavuso ma'ayin liyesh b'fol mamish, right? And this is the very life force, right, which brings it into existence in actual reality.
His machshava.
His machshava. But the idea is that it's present, right? When we say encompassing, we don't, God forbid, mean by some physical way that it's distant, right? It's a transcendent energy that's here. We're his thoughts, right? We're just a manifestation of his divine energy. But he makes something real. We can't make something real from our minds. Now the other one, right? So now that if we go back and, so to speak, HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates this space, right? He creates this space where there's no revelation within it, but it's still his mind. Then there's like this kav, right, that the Kabbalah speaks about, right? That enters into that. That's mamali. That's energy that fills the world. That's a divine energy that becomes contracted and contracted and contracted and then fills every single aspect of reality, right, to become real in a physical way, right? That's the kav. That's what fills the world. That we can grasp, right? I can at least get, right, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu, I could say it at least, right, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu's bringing the tailor-made amount of divine energy to bring this table into existence. And that's different, the amount of tailor-made energy that he puts into a rabbit, and it's different than the tailor-made energy that he puts into a human being. It's even in myself, the amount of divine energy that's put into my toenail is not the same that's in my heart and my mind. Everything is fits like a glove, right? It gets mitzamsem, all this divine energy, right, to actually make something into physicality. That's not a transcendent power, right? That I can get, right? That's somewhat graspable.
Is a practical example. It's like if we imagine a table with food on it in our mind. Obviously, there's no table with food in our mind that physically exists. It's our imagination, but it exists in our mind. And we can elaborate on it, that who's around the table, what the tablecloth looks like. But it's not physically there. If you open up my brain, there's no physical table with food on it. When God, Kiviyachol, has a thought, he can literally physically create the world with his thought.
Exactly.
Right? So the difference between us is we live in a world of Sivan and where we have this imagination is there around it, but he is Mamalikom and he's able to fill the thought with physical reality in which. So the existence of Hashem in this world, what the Tanya is saying is, he exists in both.
Physicality is a thought.
Our physicality is Hashem's thought.
But there's two streams here, though, which I don't know how to reconcile, right? Creation ultimately results from this transcendent thought plus the mamale, plus the filling it. I guess in our lives we can have a thought, right? I can't fill that thought in the sense of my mind, but I can do action, right? I could do action and make something happen. Right? Not exactly the same thing, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all one thing. This transcendent divine energy that surrounds everything, it's within everything, right? And then that kav that comes in and fills it, that it's mitzamtzim, his divine energy, into physicality.
You're right. Yeah, you're also talking about like that essentially the divine energy can be split amongst things, and the divine energy in the chair isn't necessarily the same divine energy as in the back. Isn't our ultimate goal to see the unification of everything, to see the yichud
at its source,
of the divinity? At
its source, it's all one thing.
At its source, but we're also an expression of the source within one. There aren't hafrados within existence from God, within God's mind, essentially, which is us.
But his method is through tzimtzum. His method is through creating.
But tzimtzum isn't a removal. Tzimtzum is it's making space from within for something else. In other words, God, it's a contraction, but it's not a contraction of removal. It's a contraction where nothing is removed. Everything from within that contraction.
Tzimtzum can be used in a lot of different ways in terminology. Let's discuss it after. We'll discuss it after. Right? Mamale call him that he also has this energy that fills the world, which gives it actually encloses itself in every item of creation. Shehimutzum semet b'socho b'tzimtzum rav. There's a powerful contraction, right? To turn something from divinity into a physical table, that's a tremendous amount of contraction. Kivi erech mosa nivra, it contracts, it fits it like a glove, right? It actually comes to fill that thing. It fills plastic in a certain way, right? It fills divine, inspiration that somebody has in a different way. It fills thoughts, and it fills people, and it fills animals, and blades of grass, and a piece of garbage, all in a different way, right? Shehu balgul v'talchus b'kamuso ve'echuso, right? And everything has its own limitation of what it is in this world, and the divine light comes and also limits itself to fill that, right? Dahainu malaso v'chashivuso. Everything has its limited quantity and quality, and its own significance and importance, he translates it. Kagona shemesh shegufo yeshlo gvul v'tachlis b'kamuso shehu kamo kuf samach zayin pa'amim begodol kadar arts. It says even the sun, right? The sun is ultimately still something that's finite, right? And though it's very powerful, right, there's still a quantity of how much light and its power to the size of it. It says here, there's discussions about this. I think it's based on the Rambam, but it says that the orb of the sun, or the orb of the earth, the sun is 167 times the size of the earth, right? People argue that, and there's different ways to look at it. It doesn't matter, right? The point being is that it has a certain limitation to it. Ve'echuso umaluso hu oro, gam ken yesh lo gvul ad kama yuchal laha'ir. The sun's power, the quality, right, and the significance of its light that it can travel, right? It can also only go so far, right? We view the sun as this almost like unlimited thing, right? But it has itself its limitations. Kilo ya'ar levilti tachlis. It doesn't shine forever. Me'achar shehu nivra, right? It's a created thing. V'chein kol hanivraim hein ba'alei gvul v'tachlis ki mei haaretz l'rakia mahalach tafkei shana v'chulhu. Everything in this world, every aspect of this world, even the higher realms, even the angelic worlds that we speak about, right? They're all limited. They're creations, right? A creation is by nature limited by time and space. He always brings this famous Gemara from Chagiga, right? The Gemara speaks about it takes the distance from level to level, right? From heaven to heaven, so to speak, is a journey of 500 years, whatever that means. But the point being is that there's a limitation on everything, right? And therefore, the divine light is limiting itself to fill each thing. Therefore, this divine energy that's coming in, this force that's invested, powerfully coming in, is contracted. It's powerfully contracted to fit that thing. Right? It has to undergo tremendous and numerous amounts of these contractions, these filterings, these limitations that divine life goes through, right, in order to bring every single thing, right, into existence as it needs to be. Shkoyach. Let's just read the Hayom Yom quickly. The Hayom Yom for the 24th of Sivan. You ask, what does your spiritual bond with me, your hiskashrus, consist of, since I don't know you by face? True connection is attained by Torah study. That was a statement by, I think, one of the Rebbes. I'm not sure, right? Or speak. I don't know you by face, right? I don't know. You could look at it as Hashem. You could also look at it as certain Rebbeim. We don't know them by face. They're not here anymore. They're not. True connection is attained by Torah study. When you study my Mamarim of Chassidus, the Frierdiker Rebbe said this, right? When you study my Mamarim of Chassidus and read Sichos, associate with my friends and the members of the Hasidic Brotherhood and Tamimim in their studies and in their Farbrengens, and fulfill my requests by reciting Tehillim and maintaining a regular study schedule. This is what Hiskashrus is. You want to be close to the Rebbe? You want to be close to the Rebbe? Learn his Torah. be with his people, follow his dictates, say Tehillim, study Torah. Yalla. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. A little more than 10 minutes, I'm sorry.
Felt like 2.
Oh.